Hey everyone, Noman Mike Chomsky here. Just want to make a quick video about Losan and then take him around an arena to show you just how much fun I'm having with him. Recently just pulled him and he's still on my first build here. So still having a lot of fun and a lot of success. Just want to give you a little snapshot here. Have him in Swift Parry, primarily for that 50% unkillable. And then I have him in a Supersonic, just this way he gets just a little bit more speed. So this way he could keep on churning out the turn meter and all that fun stuff. Placing Weaken as an attack on A1, that's pretty sweet. And it can't be resisted if the dude has targeted him before. This is his bread and butter. The HP levels of all allies basically gets bumped up to the highest. Same thing with their turn meter. So there's a whole lot of fun there, as well as the inverse is going on for the enemy. And then he places a taunt on himself. It's 5 turns, but you're going to see it goes by pretty quick. And then the finality disc, he's attacking one enemy, taking all of his debuffs, and he puts it out there to the target. And then he heals himself by 10% of his max HP, and then another 10% for each debuff. And he's using that when he's counterattacking. So ideally, you have a counterattack on the team, but with Night Revs at its current incarnation, not so much. And then, he's going to have a whole lot here. Um, if there's one faction ally, if there's two, and if there's three, you're in for a whole load of fun. One is basically saying this can't be resisted. So you don't need to bring in accuracy per se. The key to that is targeting the ones that have attacked you. So you do have to pay attention. Otherwise, you do need accuracy. But this one's kind of fun too. If there's two of them, if there's two Night Revs on your team, he's attacking all enemies with less than 30% HP. So you got to be mindful of that or of that HP meter, and basically just making sure that you know what's cooking. This attack cannot be critical, which damn, that sucks. And then he also deals 100% more damage to enemies who have attacked him before this turn. So really, anybody who attacks him through when he's got taunt. So just be really mindful. Now the fun part, whenever he loses a quarter of his life from a single hit, that's the key. He places a block damage on him. For those multi-hitters that he gets knocked around, this ain't gonna proc. I've been effectively nuked by multi-hitters, so that's not fun. He does have a chance to put out True Fear. It's very low, but it's still cool that he has that ability. Um, he's ignoring defense effects. Ignore defense effects on him or decreased by 100%. He's saying, "Nia, Jenkuya." And then if there's three of them, this instant turn, it, it's pretty nutty. It procs a lot. So the way I have him built, I may need to redo this. It's my first. I just got done with the scrolls, so I have him going down defense. So this way he soaks up more damage. I have right now in Night Rev. I have Crixia and Cora, Narces, and then him going nuts. So I think that's okay with defense. He primarily I have him soaking up damage, so this way he gets closer to that block damage buff. I think in the future, rather than supersonic, what I could maybe do is a protection set on him, so this way that doesn't get taken away. Um, the con to that is that he increases his turn meter so much that like it really doesn't matter because those buffs just like melt off him. So it's kind of difficult. And then I have him in a quasi healing slash accuracy set here. Um, really just breaking it down here. A little bit more accuracy just to land the weekend. I could do this, but he's not really placing too many buffs outside of his outside of his block damage. Excuse me. So that's kind of difficult. and then a debuff. He's only putting out that weaken. So it was kind of a stretch to go down to healing savior, and then cycle of magic just to again that decrease that cooldown, but it's only 5%. It's a nice touch. I was thinking about solidarity, but again, he's not putting out too many buffs, so that really doesn't make sense. And then Harvest Despair doesn't make sense since he's not landing any of like he's not doing a stun sleep any of that. So that wouldn't make sense, but it would open up deterrence. I thought that may be a possibility, but I really went for Retribution instead because I want him to attack as much as I can. This also procs that uh, it also procs what is this? Uh, the finality disc. So there is the potential that he could also effectively AoE. So that's why I went with that. And then additionally, I went with Bulwark just this way he soaks up the damage. And then lastly, Sniper, just this way there's that increased chance of doing the weekend. Nothing else here really makes sense to me. Lasting Gifts, it's not going to extend Taunt, so that doesn't make sense. And then extending Weaken by one turn, eh, like meh. So like really, I could have saved some energy by not completing this. Alternatively, let's see how I like the defense and that I may just move over to offense and basically do a Helm Smasher just for his A1s. Uh, Giant Slayer could also work, so we got some wiggle room there. But let's take him into Arena and let's see how he does. Uh, let's like this is my current team. Ancora for the speed, Narcisse for some damage, the wipe and the skill cooldown, and then I got Losan out there just basically doing turn meter control. It's a pretty wild time. Um, Typically the problem is, I'm not fast enough with my Ancora, so that's that's a fun part. Uh, Here we go. And with the ally protect, he's really taking a lot of beef here. But the idea is that when he does his A2, um, he's effectively, healing himself up. I hype him up and I don't even have a chance. So this is the neat one where basically the HP balance is out there. So that's kind of cool because I'm really looking at the turn meter, and then I'm gonna attack him and then do that up. So 43,000, and there's no decreased defense out there. This one's gonna be fun because Gizmok's out there. So we're gonna get some HP burn, but that goes away. So we're gonna bring this up. I just recently redid some of the speeds here, so I kind of messed this up because I had Narcisse going ahead of him, and then him get to go again because I have that bringing his turn meter up. So I may need to bring Narcisse just a little bit faster, and then we basically have a double whammy going on here. So a whole lot of fun here so far. Here going first is fantastic. Put on the shield because I get to raise up. I get to raise turn meter. I'm gonna bring this up just this way. I can get to do this. I'm really looking forward to Narcisse here. There's really no buff, so I'm gonna hang on to that. tricky thing is just figuring out, you know, I, being precise with the 30% HP, but also paying attention to see who has attacked you. The taunt is really awesome on him. I was trying to get a retaliation set on him, just didn't work. 9-piece protection. Ooh. Uh, instant turn went into effect here. So let's see what we can do here. You know, removing all buffs. So I don't have the most accuracy on them. And initially, I was really concerned that I was not going to have enough to to basically do that skill, but it's it just it's just really really good, to say the least. Getting sheep on them, like the protection is nice. Yep, Chomsky done messed up on that one. Uh, so all right, that's fine. The reality of arena, right? This is going to be a slow boy, but it, he brings a lot for those long lasting teams. So he's going to get. Oh no, he's not going to go because he cut in. Beautiful. So we have stone skin, okay, and HP is eight, what it's going to be, but what's interesting is that the turn meter still goes into effect there. So even though they have stone skin, it's still gonna land, which is just awesome. Um, and I, we just have to go through this. Yeah, really don't like Ultimate Death Knight in this element here, but that's fine. So turn meter gets all dropped. So essentially, no matter what, it's gonna go through, because I that mechanic is is out there that there's turn meter uh, turn meters. It still goes through. So I think that's really really neat, and just a lot of fun. Like I don't know how to necessarily build them. I can make them damage, which is fine, but is that the best source for them? I don't know. Putting out there the defense tree and having them basically soak in as much damage as possible sounds like it should be the case. Uh, just because he also gets that ability, to get that block damage on him, and I think that's really the key for him. Like he's just soaking in so much, and here we have him basically back to full life and then some. So I'm really satisfied with that. I I think the sustainability side I have with them is is suspect. Do I want him in that health and defense? When I could have them, and I just got smoked. I just got smoked. So I I'm okay with it, and I think moving forward, just getting him to be more just getting him to be more defense and HP. I think that's really going to be the key, and to bring up Narcies. So this way, I just want to do this against He-Man. 20,000 when we're looking at 20,000 right there. Not the greatest, but that's fine. We should be able to smoke anyways. By the way, smoking is bad. Don't smoke. But we should be able to knock these guys out. And one of the other draws of having him out there is that HP balance. You know, we could have him be a super slow boy, kind of like Fallmond, and just soak in as much as we can, and then like pick apart a Wukong, for instance, or a glass cannon, and then hopefully by that time he's up and running, and then we bring everybody down to that level. I think would be awesome and a uh, pretty cool mechanic of his. Let me just do the A1. I want to see if he no. Okay. I was waiting to see if he does a block damage. This way I could strip that and attack him, but that's fine. Little Carnage and Marius. This could be fun here. And I realize it's kind of a cheat code having um, having Crixia there, but you know she's another Night Rev, and I think that's awesome. Now it would be cool if I had decreased defense here in Night Rev. I don't. One that I could plug and play here. The synergy between Ancora and Narcisse is wonderful, and then having Kaya, uh, you know, K'leth here is pretty cool too. So I want to maintain that. But yeah, so going back to it, I always do that. Going back to it, I really just I like Swift Parry on him because there's that extra mechanic. It has speed and crit damage. I think what I could do is really bump up Narcisse's speed just a little bit because he's at 279 and his is 278. So you know, let's make a bigger divide than that. You know, but ultimately the healing here it helps, but it's not really necessary. I think really just going down the damage tree and then Giant Slayer I think is going to be the key here. I don't need Helm Smasher because again when he's with his buddies in Night Rev, uh, he's going to be doing a lot of ignore defense here. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is version 1.0. Still having a lot of fun. Really solid champ. I worry that he's going to be in the new faction wars, and that he's going to be a hard one to to mess around with. So the counter to him is block buffs, multi hitters, HP burn is going to be big. So take away the support, and then he's kind of left on an island. Um, yeah, decrease speed, block buff, poison, HP burn, any of those lingering effects, it's going to really slow him down because he doesn't have a mechanic to necessarily cleanse himself. So that's the way that I would handle it. Please drop a comment down below and tell me how you'd handle it. Find me on Twitch, and we'll talk soon. Take care.